Hey everybody, I am Erica Carlson with Bricks Real Estate. Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk to you about where do you start the search when you don't know where to begin? And I think it's not just a first-time home buyer question. I think anybody who hasn't bought a house for a while isn't always sure where to start the process. And so I think a lot of people just end up on websites like Zillow starting to look at houses and coming up with the plan. And so there can be that's fine. First of all, let's start with that. It's completely fine to just kick the tires and think about it before involving any professionals. So do not have any feelings about that. I mean, there's people just looking for strange houses on Zillow, including me, and it's just lots of fun. So we're talking about information I'm pulling from the Smart Home Buyer book that you can download for free off my website. I won't know that you're downloading it. So going back to the question, very important. Do I start with talking to my loan officer, or how do I even find a loan officer, right? Or do I call a real estate agent and start looking at houses? And the ideal answer is that you would do kind of both at the same time would be my suggestion. I wouldn't really keep these in isolation if I didn't have to. There's really no reason to isolate them. But if I'm going to pick one, I actually want you to talk to a loan officer. And the reason why is because so many people are shopping for houses with no idea what their budget is, and they're just guessing, and maybe they're using some mortgage calculators, which is completely fine. But if you're not plugging in the right numbers, that mortgage calculator isn't helping you. If you don't know your credit score, it's not helping you. There's so many other factors that go into qualifying for the mortgage and for how much you will get for it. And just a little side note for anybody who is maybe shopping in 2020, 21, interest rates have changed quite a bit. So something you were qualified for 2 years ago, you took a hiatus, you need to revisit that conversation again with your reliable and local loan officer. Like I said, both is ideal because let's say you disclose to your real estate agent that you want a fixer-upper, which might imply, chip paint or loose railings or some safety issues. And you don't tell your loan officer that, and or you haven't let those two parties talk to each other, which is very common, though I encourage you to I discourage you to continue that practice because we make a team, right? So if I learn that you want a fixer-upper and maybe you want it out in a rural area, maybe we should look at USDA loans, depending on the location you're choosing. Maybe we can't get an FHA loan or a VA loan. You're not going to get a VA loan if you're not a vet. Let's start with that. But we're not buying a fixer-upper with an FHA loan either. And that is commonly something I hear. Townhouses and condos can be very challenging to purchase with an FHA loan. I didn't say impossible, challenging. You need to have a team of people that know how to navigate that process with you. It can be very frustrating. And sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes we're just qualified for what we're qualified for at the budget we're going to have to be at. And so now we need to get realistic about what we're shopping for. So you're over here looking at suburban houses at a certain price point. Unfortunately, you don't qualify for that. So are you going to be open to the alternative? And is the alternative going to work for your loan? There's too many factors in there to make this quick and easy and clean. So this is something that we work with people on every day, is making sure we're matching the property type up with your loan type. So when you say, I don't want to do that right now, I want to wait until I find the right house. Then we find the right house. You love it. You want to write an offer. Now we're talking to the loan officer and we find out, let's say you have a credit issue that needs to be repaired. It's going to take 3 months of X, Y, and Z to fix it. That's fine. But you unfortunately are not going to buy that house. And so all the time you spent on that particular direction, it's not going to pay out. It wasn't a great use of time. And so if you are ever frustrated on why a real estate agent doesn't want to run out and show you houses without a pre-approval, there's multiple reasons. I've addressed most of them. Another reason is just simply to be respectful to whoever owns the house. Unlike shopping for the shirt, the painting, whatever behind me, it doesn't tend to impact an individual very much. When we shop for houses, oftentimes we are displacing somebody. Now, yes, they are putting their house on the market. They want to sell it. However, they are expecting that the real estate agent has done some qualifying, that that person actually can write an offer, that we are not asking them to leave at 7 o'clock on Monday night with their baby, their 4 dogs, vacuum and clean and put away their dishes and and all the things that they have to do to walk out that house and show it as presentable as possible to somebody who maybe is qualified for half of that loan amount and will never be able to purchase that house, not at this point in their life at least. So it's actually like an awkward conversation when you realize you've shown somebody a house that's double their budget, or a loan type that they're never going to qualify for. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm a huge advocate of please talk to a loan officer. If you don't know a loan officer, you don't know where to begin. I know a lot of people start with credit unions and banks, but there are a lot of excellent lenders out there that do not advertise in that typical space. And some of them in the real estate market are known as having really excellent reputations, that they're going to be there for you. And we could create a whole nother video on what we should look for in a lender or a loan officer for you. So I'm going to leave that alone for the time being. So what is your budget? What type of loan are you getting? Unless you're cash, you still need to get a proof of funds. You cannot go out shopping for a house with gold bars. It does not work. The money cannot be shoved under a mattress somewhere. That will not be acceptable to the other parties involved. You are not like in isolation purchasing this house. There is somebody on the other side that is wondering if you can truly close on the house before they take it off the market and sell it to you without bumps and bruises along the way. And we just want this to be a really smooth and awesome transaction. It's a really big deal. We honor that. We understand that this is a scary, big decision for all of us. It's a big deal. And so to make that as smooth as possible, work with both parties simultaneously if you can, and let me know if I can get you any references or referrals for local and reliable lenders to make that happen. As always, if you have questions, if you have concerns about anything in the real estate world, especially residential, that's what I specialize in, the Western Metro, Wright County and Hennepin County. I'd love to be a resource to you. You can start looking at houses at iheartmplshomes.com. Love to see you there. Thanks again for checking in.